Holy shit, guys. On the past week, we've seen some nuke slaps, murder slaps, insane slaps, call it what you wanted. But ladies and gentlemen, the OTC is back. While the big boards are crashing down, the crypto is going down and there is red on the streets, the OTC is thriving. I am Pikachu OTC from Simple Trade and welcome to the weekly review where I will be talking about the runners, the insane, absolutely massive runners that we had from the past week and what we need to look out for as we head into the next week. Now, as you can see on the screen, the first stock of this weekly review will be the company TXTM, and you can see the quadruple building of volume right here, over 600 million volume each day, and just see the price action, meaning that the dollar volume on this stock was higher and higher as the days go by, and it reached a dollar volume of $9.5 million in one day, which is absolutely nuts for an OTC company. We've seen this kind of volume on previous runs, just like GEGI, which ran about tens of thousands of percent, and MJWL, which ran tens of thousands of percent. So this is a big deal, and because of that run of TXTM, which ran over 1000%, and it could even go higher, the OTC was riding on its back and stock started getting slaps and they started to run just like TXTM. So let's start with this one. What happened over TXTM? It is a pink current information stock. It has a heavy float of around 7.5 billion shares, but that float did not stop it from running, because on June 13th, pre-market, that was on Monday, the company published a PR about an acquisition of RSAMMD LLC, which is the biggest, if not the largest, CBD farm in the world. Now, if you want to expand your knowledge about this, you can read the PR and do some DD over Twitter. That stock has an entire cult behind it, or as they call it, the TXTM tribe, and everything you love to see in the OTC is in that stock. So this is a very, very interesting stock to follow. If the numbers are right, the estimated revenues for that company should be around billions of dollars, and the current market cap of TXTM is around 120 million. So by market cap speaking only, and if those revenue plans are correct, it could go another 1000% from this point onwards. So just keep an eye out for that stock. Obviously there are dips every day. Obviously the stock cannot go up forever, even though it ran insanely high, gap after gap after gap, 4 days in a row, insane volume, and even the 5th day a lot of volume, 450 million volume in one day. That's over $5 million in volume. So I am sure TXTM will give another opportunities for another massive run. And on Wednesday they have a conference call in which they will review their future plans and talk about their business. So there is also expectation to wait for Wednesday. It will be super interesting to see what that stock is going to do Tuesday at the opening bell. And now let's move on to the next company of this weekly review, which was alerted on our Discord channel at the bottom of the bottom, and that stock is GEGI, or GEGI. We alerted that stock and talked about that stock back in April. You can see back here the rise, the 50% run, and the volume that got in from here. We follow that stock ever since, and we started to load it up right here at the prices of the 0010 and the 0012.13, and the patience well paid, because on June 16th and June 17th the stock got its volume 100 million in one day, and then insanely high 390 million volume for a 1 billion float of a company, and got the stock to run 300% from our entrance points in our Discord channel. If you want to get these kind of alerts, make sure to go and join our community. You will see much more runners that we called in this weekly review before anyone else, so join our Discord community. Now let's understand what happened to GEGI. So on June 16th, the company opened a new Twitter account. They delivered a tweet saying, "Welcome to GEGI new Twitter account. We are very excited to update everyone on our journey. Some very defining and major updates are due soon." One day later, they tweeted Thanks for everyone's support today. We will put out official news for the company next week. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. So we have an expectation for a PR next week, and more to that. There is a guy on Twitter called Deep Blue who shared a very interesting and very deep DD on GEGI, where he found out that Appium Incorporation, otherwise known as GO1, which is an AI learning software company, recently filed a Form D using the offices of GEGI. Now that company raised $200 million at $1 billion valuation according to his DD. So this is a very strong speculation. If TXTM were in thousands of percent with 7.5 billion float on a billions of revenues estimation, if GEGI speculation for that $1 billion valuation is correct, it can run even further because it is only 1 billion float. So this is an extremely interesting story for GEGI. Keep your eyes for that PR next week, but also keep in mind that if that won't be the news, if the news will be talking about something else that is not that speculation, the stock might get sell-off. So keep your eyes out for GEGI. And now let's move to the next stock of this weekly review, which is VGID, or VGID as I like to call it, which ran 200% in 3 days with very nice liquidity. You can see 300 million, 400 million, and 200 million volumes every day. And that is due to a tweet from the company Twitter account saying, working on something huge, hoping to have information to share by the end of next week, VGID. So keep your eyes out for VGID by the end of the following week. And keep in mind that they said that they are hoping to have that information, meaning that they will not necessarily publish that huge thing that they are working on. But as always, we alerted VGID on the 0004, which was basically the bottom because there was barely any volume on the 0003. So we enjoyed a 100% run with a full liquidity. And now let's move on to the next stock that ran 100%, and that is PLPL. The stock ran 170%. Also very nice liquidity, guys. See this 400 million volume, and then 700 million volume, 300 million volume. The volume here was very good, and that is the same reason for the volume. You can see right here that 900 million of a volume, and that is due to the LOI that was published right here. So the DD got flat up again, and the stock ran only based on that LOI. There was nothing else on that stock, and it seems like the stock is now getting loaded at these prices, the 0007 to the 0009. So there might be anything here in the near future, but that is just one more of an example of a trip stock that started to run and broke out of that trips. If you recall from the previous weekly review, I've talked about that the trips stocks are getting hotter and hotter, and so far we've seen 2, if not 3, if you count GEGI in, of trip stocks that ran out of trips. Let's move on to the next one that ran out of trips, and that stock is RMRK. You can see the stock running 160% from the 0008 all the way up to the 0021. Let's understand what happened over here. So RMRK is a pink current information stock with a 2.4 billion float, and on June 15th they tweeted that they are working very hard to provide value for their shareholders, and they believe in transparency. Additional information will be provided soon. Stay tuned. Now at that point there was some speculations and emails from the CEO of RMRK saying that there will be an official PR next week. And then on June 16th, they tweeted that the company appreciates all the shareholders' support. We will update shareholders very soon as we are waiting on final approvals. Have a great day. Now we know that they are waiting for an acquisitions. So that speculation of PR next week and that final approvals tweet, as they said, might talk about a next acquisitions. So there is expectation here and there is speculation over here, and that is what the OTC loves. And with the hot market that we are in right now, the stock absolutely ran 160%. See the volume, 250, Very nice. Keep your eyes out for RMRK. Now let's move on to the next strip stock that ran 100%, and that is GEGP or GEGP. The stock ran 200% in only one day. You can see 570 million shares were traded that day. Absolutely beautiful. And that is due to two things. The first of all is that the TRIPS stocks are getting hotter. People are looking for the most undervalued TRIPS stocks sitting at the bottom of the bottom, and they are starting to load them. Now the second reason for the run is Penny Whale himself added 0003 and said that he got off the phone with the CEO who is currently in Europe, and he said official PR to follow, and this will be the first ever PR of the company. So that is very interesting. Now PR to follow does not have a timeline, so it does not mean that the PR will be next week, but it is definitely a one to keep an eye out for. And then he added that from the CEO, they intend to uplist to the Canadian exchange. They have plenty of cash. He is doing more shells and he loves acquisitions. He has a biotech company, a medical device company, one from Israel, EXHI. So the DD on GEGP is getting out right now and everyone loves it. Everyone loves a fresh story. Everyone loves acquisitions. So just keep an eye out for that stock. If a PR hits, we might see another run. And now let's move on to the next stock of this weekly review, and that stock is RTON or RTON. Also ran 200% in about 3 days with a massive volume, 500 million volume in one day over here, June 16th, and that is due to a sympathy play for TXTM because the CEO of TXTM is a director on RTON, and for that reason and that reason only, the stock ran very hard. Also, that stock was alerted on our Discord channel by Penny Whale. He found out that sympathy play at the 0005. And now let's move on to the final stock of this weekly review, which is IMTL. Now this stock has the potential to make another beautiful run. As you can see from the chart, it used to trade over a penny and then it dropped down pretty hard because of CEO issues. And that CEO eventually passed away and his daughter took control of IMTL. But as we see on the recent days, there is loading on the prices of the 0005, 0006, and even some 0007. So there might be something very interesting here on that stock. It is a 3.5 billion float of a stock, so that's a medium size float for a TRIP stock, and it has the potential to run, so keep your eyes out for IMTL. And that was it about this weekly review, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss any other future videos. If you are still here at this time of the video, I'll leave you guys with a tip. When the market is hot, when the market is as hot as it was this week, you swing more and you flip less. Now we do not know how we will open Tuesday and how the next week is going to be, but if TXTM run continues, there are very high chances that the entire OTC will follow as well, and we will have a second hot week. So remember, flip less and swing more. Obviously, this is not a trading or financial advice. This is only a tip, so you do what you do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I wish you all a very green and a profitable week.